What's up, everybody? I'm Alan Seslowsky, and thanks for tuning back into RosterWatch. Each week on this video, we're going to provide you with sneaky $0 pickups that you could add to your season-long fantasy rosters today that may be of great value to you down the road. The idea is to identify players that have a plausible path to become the high-price free agents in the coming weeks. The bottom of your fantasy roster should always be used to cycle through high-upside picks that could easily be cut to speculate on another player. The first player we're going to talk about is Donavan Peoples-Jones, the wide receiver on the Cleveland Browns, currently 0% rostered. DPJ was a 6th-round real NFL pick this year, and his college production at Michigan was a disappointment when you contrast that to his national ranking coming out of high school. His proponents point to the poor QB play at Michigan and the limitations of that offense to explain away his modest college production. None of that matters anymore, as Donavan Peoples-Jones was forced into action this past Sunday when Odell Beckham suffered a season-ending injury. The Browns' leading wide receiver was rock-solid pro Rashad Higgins, who caught 6 passes for 110 yards, and you should certainly try to roster Higgins as a priority add this week. Higgins is an immediate, every-week fantasy starter. However, this video is about rostering players who will cost you $0 in fab or can get picked up after the first run of waivers executes. DPJ was second in the team in receiving yards in Week 7, catching all 3 of the targets thrown his way, including an acrobatic 25-yard toe-tapping TD to put the Browns ahead late in the fourth quarter. Donavan Peoples-Jones looks like he belongs in the NFL and belongs at the bottom of your roster for a $0 bid. The second player we're going to talk about is Albert Okwuegbunam, a.k.a. Albert O, the Denver tight end, who is a rookie this season. He was featured in $0 bidding last week, but his ownership percentage is still only 1%. Albert O is not ranked among the top tight end consensus waiver wire pickups this week across the fantasy industry. Your league mates are likely spending their fab to pick up Dallas Goedert, Irv Smith, Trey Burton, Logan Thomas, and Richard Rodgers. All of those tight ends produced in their last active game, and if you need a tight end, you should absolutely put a token bid on those players, but are likely to get Albert O for a $0 bid after your waiver wire runs. Albert O was Denver quarterback Drew Lock's college teammate back at Missouri and one of his favorite red zone targets. That was on display in Week 6. Albert O tied the team for the lead in targets with 6 and saw a handful of those in the end zone. Even with starting tight end Noah Fant back in the lineup in Week 7, Albert O led the team in receiving yards and tied Fant with 7 targets. Albert O caught 100% of those targets. Fant only hauled in 3. This is another data point that speaks to the connection between Drew Lock and Albert O, and he makes for an excellent $0 bid if you miss out on the tight end market. The last player I want to talk to you about is Denzel Mims, the wide receiver on the New York Jets, currently only 4% rostered. Mims was featured in our Week 5 $0 bidding video. Surprisingly, he's still only 4% owned. There is likely a Jets suck bias depressing his appeal. The waiver wire is flush with low-end wide receiver options that profile more like wide receiver 3s. Mims is one of those players available that has a plausible path to top 15 wide receiver value. During the pre-draft process, rookie Denzel Mims skyrocketed up draft boards with an eye-popping 40 time and a standout Senior Bowl performance. RosterWatch was particularly early, identifying Mims as a player to watch. Mims made his season debut on Sunday against the Bills and led the team in targets and receptions and yards. Albeit they were modest numbers for fantasy, 7 targets, 4 catches, 42 yards. But again, it is non-optimal circumstances surrounding the Jets. The Jets are going to be motivated to feed Mims in this nightmare season to give their fan base something to be optimistic about moving forward. Mims has the upside to be an every week fantasy starter and a strong $0 bid for your fantasy roster. Okay, Roster Watch Nation, that's it for today. Remember to like and subscribe to get notifications when we go live, and leave us a comment on the video. We will comment back. Until next time, goodbye.